And currently at Montgomery College Cultural Arts Center, there is an exhibit to memorialize and honor two men who were lynched in Rockville. Now, the exhibit is part of a larger initiative to educate and engage our community in acknowledging the history and legacy of lynching and racial terrorism in the county. WDVM Cheyenne Corin was at that exhibit and she shares more.
Anyone who doesn't know their history is doomed to repeat it. Those are the words coming from Leslie Young of the Montgomery County Lynching Memorial Project. Until April 29th, MoCo LMP and the Montgomery College Cultural Arts Center are displaying an exhibit called It Happened in Rockville, Remembering Two Lynchings, and it educates the community about these terror acts that took place and the reconciliation process that grassroots coalitions are working on.
Mr. Sidney Randolph had been accused of a murder of Sadie Buxton, and he was awaiting his indictment when he was taken from the jail forcefully by a group of men who had come to lynch him.
There are 3 total known lynchings in Montgomery County. 2 happened in Rockville. Sidney Randolph and John Diggs Dorsey, both taken from the county jail, which is now the county office building. George Peck is the 3rd documented victim who was lynched in Poolsville.
The historical lynchings, one of the things that makes them so egregious is that often they were sanctioned by the local law enforcement. They were in some ways supported. 2 of these men were taken from the county jail.
Young also wants to remind people that although Montgomery County is known as one of the most diverse places in the country, Maryland, like many other parts of the South, has a history of racialized violence, and remembering these terror acts allows us to not repeat the same mistakes.
And at the same time, in order to create that sense of community, we have to know where we come from and understand that within the history of Montgomery County, it hasn't necessarily always been like this, and that there are more difficult, harder, more violent parts of our past.
In Maryland as a whole, there are 38 documented lynchings. The Maryland Lynching Memorial Project was formed in 2018 to research and document the racial terror lynchings. Will Schwartz is the president and founder of the group. He says it's important the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act was signed into law. He says it's vital to have legislation that connects historical hate crimes like lynchings to hate crimes of today. But he says it would be tragic if people look at this bill signed and think the issue is over.
I don't see it so much as a cause of celebration as I do of relief that this embarrassment that's gone on for so long has ended. It's a stain on our history.
Schwartz also says dissecting history isn't always easy, but to properly honor the dignity of the lives lost, it's necessary to acknowledge the mistakes of the past.
It's not just that we're against white supremacy or bigotry. We have to be for something. And I think it's important to have that vision of how we want to live together.
Reporting in Montgomery County, Maryland, I'm Cheyenne Corin for WDVM 25.